going on, Jerome's? Yes, so mercifully, we're going to find out who the Vikings' future franchise quarterback is going to be here in a couple of weeks. And will it be Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, Michael Pratt, Sam Hartman, Joe Milton III? Don't know. I was going to say don't care, but obviously I have a vested interest. But the whole thing about it is that JJ McCarthy is the ultimate wild card in this draft, where all of the rumors, all the speculation, all the innuendo, all the comments straight from head coaches, is it all part of a Will Levis style hype, trying to push him up the draft board for other teams' nefarious purposes? Or is he legit? I mean, what is going to happen to this draft if and when Washington just sticks and picks and takes McCarthy at 2? Anarchy. Like, I want crazy things to happen, man. But the Vikings have been doing their diligence on JJ McCarthy, attendance at his pro day, multi-day private workout, so they're definitely getting into things. And Matt Bowen over at ESPN, former defensive back, fantastic, and he's the guru of the film, and also really love and respect his NFL takes. So he did up a 2024 NFL draft favorite team fits for 20 top prospects, and JJ McCarthy fitting with the Vikings. Also, he had Jaden Daniels with Washington, which I don't know. Like, Cliff Kingsbury gets this reputation for being a quarterback guru. Like, what has he done? I mean, hey, congrats for having Mahomes at Texas Tech. Congrats for having Caleb Williams for 1 year at USC. Awesome. Anyways, McCarthy, where Minnesota could get him, pick number 11. Yeah, we'll see. The Vikings can set up McCarthy as a distributor in Kevin O'Connell's defined passing game using play-action concepts to put him in position to throw with better timing and rhythm. McCarthy completed 76.3% of his play-action passes last season, putting up a total QBR of 90.4. That's out of a scale of 100. Beep, bop, 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 boop. Those are outstanding numbers, and the fit works perfectly in Minnesota. Plus, McCarthy has the second reaction skills as a passer to make plays outside of structure when necessary. He can use his legs to create throwing windows. The Vikings added veteran Sam Darnold in free agency, but McCarthy could be their long-term starter. And the whole debate is, so Daniels obviously has his mobility. I think he's underrated as a passer. Penix drops piss missiles all over the place. Drake May, he can have the high highs, he can have the low lows. And, of course, the familiarity with McCown does factor in there. But basically, like we've said this before, I feel like McCarthy has a high floor. I feel like he plays well within structure. I feel like he does have movement skills that are underrated. And given the fact that Kevin O'Connell likes his quarterback under center, a lot of play-action concepts, and McCarthy has a ton of experience with that at Michigan, I think that McCarthy, in terms of if you just want someone who will operate the offense, that's what you want, and that's why we've called McCarthy before, Brock Purdy plus. And you could do things with Brock Purdy. I mean, Brock Purdy distributed with the Niners and dragged them to a Super Bowl. Also, remember his legs in the Packers game? Underrated part. So again, you can win games with a Brock Purdy adjacent type guy. But in terms of gambling for an absolute ceiling, if you want to roll the dice with Daniels or Penix or May, I think that's where you're currently at. But also, that doesn't mean that McCarthy couldn't have a ceiling as well, because he's still very young. Well, same age Drake May, but you know what I mean. But still very young, still quasi-limited because of the offense that he ran in Michigan. Also, just look at how young he is. He's just a kid. Like, he come here to the Vikings, sit for a year behind Sam Darnold, soak up all that knowledge from McCown and Kevin O'Connell, and go from there. And I know the drawback against McCarthy is he didn't put up the eye-popping college stats, but he did operate in a pro-style offense. He did go out there and win. And also, so our guy Thor Nystrom, college football authority, like, he has been the leader of the McCarthy train. Like, he has been the high priest of McCarthyism. JJ McCarthy's tape is dotted with dimes. He was one of the nation's best on third and long and fourth down by the numbers. He did it without an awesome wide receiver core. Roman Wilson's like, hey. And in a pro-style offense that didn't give him empty calorie stats. It's a bit of a shot at Bo Nix. His game will translate. And I am in on that as well. And the whole thing about it, too. So Bowen just sort of slid in there. It's like, hey, they could get him at 11. Probably not. I mean, there's a non-zero chance that he could go 2 or 3. I think that's why McCarthy is a wild card. Like, I don't think it's necessarily set in stone. That's going to be Daniels or May or Daniels at 2 or 3, respectively. The Giants, I think, could be a legitimate threat. And also, I mean, the Vikings sitting at 11, you do run the risk of the Broncos or the Raiders leapfrogging. Hey, it's a whole hop jumping thing here. Leapfrogging the Vikings at 11 if they decide to just try and stick and pick. And stupid ass Sean Payton, his love for McCarthy is already professed. And it's one of those spots, too, where it's like there's no value for a smokescreen, right? So I do think that McCarthy's being, I do think that stupid ass Sean Payton is being honest about McCarthy in this spot. So if I'm the Vikings and if McCarthy gets by the Giants at 6, let's say, and you're hoping that he's going to get by the Titans with Will Levis, probably going to get by the Falcons at 8 since they gave Kurt in multiple guaranteed years. But I would watch for the Bears at 9 because, I mean, the Bears are definitely in the wide receiver edge rusher mix. And sure, they run the risk of the Jets potentially taking one, sure. But a chance to screw over the Vikings and send JJ McCarthy to the opposite conference if the Raiders or the Broncos want to trade up and leapfrog the Vikings at 11. I mean, it's a possibility. But I think that at the end of the day, if the Vikings determine that JJ McCarthy is the guy, if they determine that he's the guy with the high floor that can operate the offense, that can distribute the rock to JJ, Addison, Hawkinson, as well as he does have that room to grow and become an elite quarterback, sure, go get him. And even if he does get outside of the top 6, which I think is unlikely at this point, and if the Vikings don't want to trade up heaven and earth for McCarthy, a small trade up to like 7, 8 to make sure that you get your guy. Go ahead. Also, that may not even cost them the future first. It may not even cost them 23, which would be kind of awesome. But anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Matt Bowen, ESPN, says that the perfect fit for JJ McCarthy is with the Minnesota Vikings. Of course it is, because it's the best spot for any of the quarterbacks. You could say this about May, about Daniels, about Penix, about Caleb Williams. Damn straight. But let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Blah, 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 blah. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.